Oh, hey, you guys. I'm back. Did you miss me? You probably didn't, but I missed being with you guys, missed doing this little video for you. Hey, for about, I don't know, 13 or 14 reasons and about 5 excuses, I couldn't get a video done the last couple of weeks. And so I apologize for the excuses. Shame on me. But there were some reasons that it couldn't happen. But anyway, so I'm sorry I didn't get that done. But I hope you guys are doing well. I'm looking forward to being together with you. You know, we've been talking about how that there's evidences and stuff of people, what we should believe and what we should know, and people just kind of ignore it. And I hope you're doing the Bible reading that we've been challenged to do. We're challenged to read through the whole New Testament here. I think this year, and we're supposed to be through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John was this last week that we were supposed to read through. And so in reading through John, I ran across a few things that to me are kind of humorous, and I just have to chuckle with it every time I read through it. So I want to share those with you and then make some conclusions about it. This isn't a funny situation. That this is when Christ was being taken by the mob to be tried in the fake trial before his crucifixion. So there's nothing funny about that. But there's some funny things that happen. And kind of like I used to think that I used to like to be a fly on the wall somewhere and see what was going on. Well, I like to be a fly in a tree over there and see what was happening during this account of what's going on. So I want to share that with you real quick. And it's in Luke or John. That's where we've been reading this week. This past week was in John. And in chapter 18. And some of this stuff I'm just going to read for you. And then I'm going to make a few comments about it. But Jesus, I just got through praying to God about the situation he was in, and about how that the apostles were, he wanted them to be united and things like that. And it says in chapter 18 of John, it says this: Now when Jesus had spoken these words, he went forth with his disciples across the Kidron Valley, where there was a garden which he and his disciples entered. Now Judas, who had betrayed him, also knew the place, for Jesus often met with his disciples. So Judas, procuring a band of soldiers and some officers from the chief priests and the Pharisees, went there with lanterns and torches and weapons. Then Jesus, knowing all that was to befall him, came forward and said to them, Whom do you seek? They answered him, Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus said, I'm he. Judas, who betrayed him, was standing with them. And when he said, I am he, they drew back and fell to the ground. From what I read and what I understand about the situation, this wasn't just a few people that showed up. Wasn't it like a dozen people that showed up? There were probably, the commentators say well over 100 people that had gone down to find Jesus and bring him back for this trial. So there's a group of people, and these are some soldiers, scribes and Pharisees, and they got weapons, they got torches because it was night, and they're after Jesus. And where is this guy? Where is he? Where is he? So they come into the garden, and they said, Jesus says, who are you looking for? He said, well, we're looking for this Jesus of Nazareth character. And he said, hey, that's me. And the Bible records in Luke that they all fell backwards to the ground. I just think that's funny. Anyway, and then when Jesus, I kind of visioned it this way. When it said they fell backward to the ground, and again he asked them, who do you seek? And I kind of, in my mind, envisioned this. They're all on the ground over there, and he's kind of helping them up, or he's right in the mix of them there. He's helping them up, and they're dusting their clothes off, getting their torches back up. And he said, who are you looking for? I said, well, we're looking for this Jesus guy. He said, I told you, I'm him. He said, so since you found me, let these other people go. I think that's pretty comical. I just think that's, I just like to have been there to see that. And the thought that comes to my mind is, these people that show up to find Jesus, and this happens to them, how many of you guys could get up off the ground after something knocked you to the ground when Jesus said, I'm him, and taking him? I mean, that's got to be a lot of power right there to show you that You don't be messing with this guy. It's like when he raised Lazarus from the dead. The people went around to see it, and it says that the Pharisees were plotting against how they could kill this Jesus and Lazarus too. Lazarus has already been dead, and Jesus raised him from the dead. Now they're looking how they can kill him. That's just kind of funny to me. Anyway, what happened was after this, it says, and they said, Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus says, I told you that I'm him, so if you seek me, let these other people go. This was so to fulfill the word which was spoken, of these whom thou gavest me I lost none. Then Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it, and struck the high priest's slave, and cut off his right ear. The slave's name was Malchus. Jesus said, put up your sword into its sheath. Do you not think, shall I not drink the cup that the Father has given me? Now, this is kind of interesting because in Luke, when he talks about this same thing, when Jesus told him to put up his sword, he touched the ear and it made it, he healed him. He healed him right there. Now, once again, I'd like to have been a little bird or a little fly or a mosquito or whatever over there and watching this, because here's Malchus and he's with these guys, and it says that he was a servant or a slave. So he may not have been wanting to be there, but he was there and he was taking part. And I think sometimes I used to think that Peter took his sword and reached up and just, cut off his ear. But I think really what happened was Peter's wheeling that sword, and Malchus is ducking, and that he just cut off his ear. And Christ said, "Hey, knock it off," and he heals the ear. So I just think that's kind of interesting and kind of a funny situation to be involved with. But now, a little bit later, if you remember, Christ told Peter says, I'm not going to betray you. Oh yeah, you guys are you're gonna forsake me and going to betray me. Not betray me, but deny me. Peter says, no. Even if I die, I'm not going to deny you. Jesus told him, said, look, tonight, this very night, before the cock crows 3 times, or the cock crows twice, you'll deny me 3 times. No, sir. He said, I'll die before that happens. So anyway, just a little bit later, and not much later, because they took Jesus from there and took him up to be questioned from the high priest. And John had gone with him, and Peter stood outside, and then John came up and talked to the girl that was keeping the gate and said, hey, let him in. So and she said, well, you're one of them. He said, no, I'm not one of them. That's first time. And then it was cold, and so they had a fire going there with some coals, it says. And so Peter was warming himself with a bunch of other people. And this is where I'll pick it up in here. Now Simon Peter was standing and warming himself, and they said to him, are you not also one of his disciples? And he denied it and said, I am not. Now this is the cool part. And I've known this, but I forget about it sometime. And when I read back over it, I had to chuckle a little bit. It says, one of the priests one of the servants of the high priest, a kinsman of the man whose ear Peter had cut off, so asked him. Now this is I don't know, a cousin or brother, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, a kinsman of this Malchus character that got his ear chopped off and Jesus healed it. So it's a kinfolk of his. He says, did I not see you in the garden with him? Which tells me that this character was there in the garden looking for Jesus when Malchus got his ear chopped off and Jesus healed it. And so Peter looking at him straight in the eye, and he says, I don't know the guy. And so here's a guy that actually probably just hours earlier watched Peter hack off Malchus' ear and watched Jesus patch it or heal it. And then he sees Peter again. He looks at him. He says, didn't I see you in the garden just a little bit ago? And Peter says, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know the guy. I don't know him. As soon as he said that the third time, with the girl at the door and the people just before this, and then now this guy, this kinsman of Malchus, he said, no, I don't know him. And as soon as he did that, the cock crew. And anyway, so the reason I tell you these kind of fun things that I kind of enjoy reading through, because let my imagination go wild a little bit, and try to see what it looked like. But my question I come to is, the people who came to get Jesus. Now, if me, I'm not really a brave guy. You know, I'm kind of a little girl once. There's nothing wrong with being a little girl unless you're a guy. But anyway, sometimes I'm not as brave as I ought to be. But if I was with a whole bunch of folks and I went up there and said, we're looking for this Jesus character, and I couldn't hold myself up, but was somehow knocked to the ground in his presence, I think I'd rethink things about what I was fixing to do. And I think if I was either with Malchus or was Malchus himself, got my ear chopped off, and I'm bleeding and looking at that and all the trauma that's going on there, and Jesus goes, "Oh, wait, we're not doing this." And he takes the ear, puts it back on. I don't think I would be too excited about taking this Jesus character away. Now, he was a servant of the high priest, so he's probably under orders of some sort. But anyway, so later his kinsmen, his buddies, see him there. And why I'm telling you all this is the whole mob, Malchus, the kinsmen of Malchus, when they saw all these things, it's hard for me to imagine why in the world couldn't you see the power of Jesus? How could you not see who he was? How can you not realize what the man was and who he was? How could you not see that? It's easy looking back, isn't it? It's easy looking back and saying that. But at the time, these people were refusing to admit it. And in fact, a lot of the scribes and the Pharisees had said, look, if you guys admit that this Jesus character is the Son of God, we're going to kick you out of the synagogue. You can't worship anymore. So a lot of them, they were under threats like that from their leaders. So they weren't going to, openly say anything that they believed in. But it's kind of hard to understand why they wouldn't believe after they'd seen the things that they had seen and been through the things they had personally been through. So I wonder sometimes why they couldn't see that as easy as we could see it today, looking back. But there are times in our lives today that we see things that God does for us all the time, and yet we still wonder, say, I don't know about this thing. I don't know. Not that we do that, but a lot of people do that. They see God's handiwork. They see God's creation. They see his miracles. There's supernatural things that he does even in this world that we're in, and they just say anything to keep from believing that there is a God. But we know that he's real, right? Now, I was in the shower this morning, and I was griping to God about a few things. I don't like this coronavirus. I don't like not being able to come to worship. I don't like not being able to see you guys and give you a hard time and tell you to quit tapping on that table. Yeah, I just miss that kind of. Now, when we get back together, don't start typing on the table saying that I miss saying that, because I don't want you to do that. Anyway, so as I was in the shower, I hate this coronavirus thing going on. I wish it would go away. I wish it would come to a normal life again. I wish, cry. All the protests in the streets and all the people acting like there is no God, there's no one to be accountable to. And so I stopped and thought, but I am blessed today. This day is a day that the Lord's made. I need to rejoice and be glad in it. So I I changed my attitude and changed my prayer a little bit, because I was standing in the shower. And I've been in a shower before in Honduras where it was a 3-gallon bag of water hanging in the trees, and it wasn't warm, and you just had a tarp around you, so it wasn't it was private. It was all right, but it wasn't very private. You still looked out to nature, and you had to use 3 gallons of water, so you had to get wet and soap up. And so here I am standing in the shower, nice warm water running all over my body and just soaping up and everything. And then when I get all through, I'm in a warm, dry house, a private house. And how many ways could God bless me and I not be grateful for it? So I was standing there, and as you get older, like I am, you're just grateful for different things. And so I'm drying off in the shower, and I'm thinking, oh, thank you for this shower. Thank you for the warm water. Thank you for a plentiful of it. Thank you for my house that you've allowed me to have and blessed me with. I'm a steward of. And thank you for this. And thank you for, the shower. And then I said this. Took me by surprise. I said, and I'm able to shower myself. Because as you get older, sometimes people have to have people clean up after them and clean them up because they're just physically or medically not able to do that. So I was grateful that I could have a shower and do it myself. So as I start looking at what God is doing for me instead of what I don't like about what's happening, then my whole attitude changed. And I hope that it'll change throughout the day because of that situation. But my point is to you guys, don't get so tied up in yourself and what you think and what you want and what you don't like and what you think you ought to have and what you think you ought to do and what you think you ought to be able to do and what you don't get so tied up in that you don't stop to look and see how God's blessing you, even with a warm house, even with running water. In Honduras, once again, and I know I've told you guys this before, but people over there think that we have all the money we want. If we want more money, just go get it. It's all you got to do. So if you're over in Honduras and they need something, they kind of expect you to just kind of give it to them because all you got to do is go home and get some more money. Money's not a problem. And so while I was over there one time, one of the people told me there, said that they spend quite a bit of money just on drinking water, just water for drinking, so they don't get sick, one thing and another. And then when I come home and I drive by, people are washing their car with drinking water. People are watering their dogs with drinking water. People are flushing their toilets with drinking water. And how blessed we are to be living in a country that God blesses us so much that we have all these things. So don't get all bummed out and all cranky pot like I was this morning about what I don't like and what I don't have and me, cry. But just turn your thoughts and turn your attitude toward what God is doing for you and He keeps doing for you, and see how blessed you really are. Hey, I hope you guys are doing the challenge for the reading. If I hadn't have been doing that little challenge, I may not have read through that 18th chapter of John again like I like to do, and remember those kind of funny parts about that scene. And but keep in mind that there are things around us all of the time, everywhere we look, everywhere we go, everywhere when we meet, that should remind us how good God is to us. So this is a special day for some special people, and some people in your life. It's a special day for them. It's Father's Day. So do something really special for your dads, and they'll appreciate it. And be grateful that God has blessed you with a home like you have. And the blessings He gives you in it. So take care of yourselves. Don't start being a pain in the neck because you got to have your way. You got to, come on. Let's do this together. Grow up a little bit, mature up, and let's do what we have to do and get through and be back together as soon as we can. Miss you guys. Take care of yourselves, and always, always, always stay in the Word, read the Word, and don't forget to pray. Not like this lay me down to sleep stuff. Don't forget to be praying. Pour out your heart to God. Let Him know what you're thinking, what you need, and watch how He'll bless you in it. So I hope to see you guys real soon. Take care of yourself and behave yourselves.